With apologies to Pastor Niemöller, first they came for the Banksters and showered them with money and put them in the administration in a way that was not change we could believe in. Then they came for the military-industrial complex and sent more and more of our children to die in faraway lands that had never attacked us in a way that was not change we could believe in. And now they've sold out our hope for a national health care system not run by millionaire gangsters in suits, which is not change we can believe in. And who is left to speak for us? Well, today, Senator Bernie Sanders is introducing single-payer health care legislation in the United States Senate. He's introducing an amendment that would create a single-payer health care system for the whole country. This is not what President Obama wants. And therefore, it'll probably not even probably, it will certainly be shot down. Because what President Obama wants is exactly the bill that looks like it's going to come out, assuming that Ben Nelson's anti-abortion stuff can get tossed into it. Because the deal, Glenn Greenwald laid this all out back months ago and in Salon, and it was not disputed by the White House that the White House had cut a deal in advance with the pharmaceutical companies. Don't worry, we won't allow reimportation of drugs. Just consider this. Some of these numbers. Donations to this is, from maplight.org, Money in Politics, Illuminating the Connection. Current money from the health care industry from 2003 to 2009, August 2003 to August 2009. Total money received by current House members, $29 million from hospitals and physicians, $9 million from health insurers and HMOs, total $39 million. During that same period of time, money received from senators, given to senators, $14 million from hospitals and physicians, $5 million from health insurers and HMOs, total of $19 million. And this doesn't cover all the money that's, all. So, bottom line here, kill the damn bill. Put this thing out of its misery. This piece of legislation is not change we can believe in. It's not even close. This piece of legislation is nibbling around the edges. And let me tell you, here's the big deal on this thing. This piece of legislation mandates that everybody in America is going to have to give money to these gangsters like Stephen Hemsley with United Healthcare with his hundreds of millions of dollars in compensation over the last 5 years, that all of us will be forced by our government to give money to these gangsters. And the Republicans are just laying in wait. They're sitting back, they're quiet, they're not saying anything. And when this thing is finally reconciled, assuming that the House Progressive Caucus, which has already written a letter to Nancy Pelosi saying if there's no public option, we're not voting for this thing, and they will stop it in the House because there's enough members of the Progressive Caucus in the House to blow the thing up in the House. So I don't know how much strong-arming Rahm Emanuel thinks he can do in the House. I know it's considerable. We have seen, we've seen how this works. We've seen Rahm Emanuel basically come in and say, if you don't do what we want, we're going to nail you. You're going to get no support. And we'll see how it plays out in the House. But bottom line, the Republicans and their toxic noise machine, the right-wing talk radio, they've been dropping a few hints here and there. And some of the right-wing talk radio hosts who aren't on such a short leash. I mean, Hannity's on a really short leash. He basically says whatever the RNC says to say. Limbaugh is on a little bit of a longer leash. Michael Savage, there's no leash at all. He spent the last 2 years of the Bush administration trashing George Bush every day. And when these guys get a hold of the fact that the Democrats have actually passed out into the Senate, have for a vote or have actually passed legislation that's going to require all of us to buy health insurance from for-profit companies, suddenly they're going to become the biggest populists in America. And they're going to point out, this has never been done before. FDR with Social Security actually, at least had the good common sense to bury the payment in payroll check withdrawal, payroll deductions, paycheck deductions. Because when it's deducted from your paycheck, you don't notice it. The Democrats in the Senate don't even have the common sense to do that. Number one. And number two, they're going to say the same thing that the Republicans said in the 30s about Social Security. You're forcing us to pay for a program? It is going to explode so badly in the face of the Democratic Party in the 2010 election. This is going to be an absolute screaming disaster. Brought to you courtesy of the Democratic Leadership Council and the Bill Clinton buddies. Where we saw yesterday in this hour, we talked with Matt Taibbi and about the great Obama sellout, the title of his most recent article in Rolling Stone about how the Obama administration is packed with Rubens, and how all the Rubens are, the Clinton's former Treasury Secretary, Robert Rubens, how all these Rubin proteges and Goldman Sachs and Citicorp guys who are running the financial end and the financial services and helping write the financial bills, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all the banksters run the show in the Obama White House. Well, similarly, the gangsters in the so-called health insurance industry, the people who handle the money and stand between you and your doctor and skim 30-40% off the top so that they can live in mansions and fly around in private jets and have hundreds of millions of dollars to pass on to their children and create giant foundations and multi-generational wealth. Those gangsters that call themselves the health insurance industry and that call themselves the pharmaceutical industry, they have the power to destroy a presidency. They have the power to make or destroy a political party. And the Obama presidency and the Democratic Party got into bed with these guys, and that's why they're in power. And they're fulfilling on their commitment. And it will take a total break with these guys and a total embrace of the people, which is what many of us thought actually might happen when President Obama, as candidate Obama, was campaigning from the bottom up and was saying, we're going to bring about real change in America. Well, we didn't get real change in America. And this bill is nothing like real change in America.